What is up, folks? Acid Roots here, so get ready for the finale of Super Contra. Now, obviously, this is a ballistically hard stage, and they pull out all the stops, and it's only natural. But, I mean, obviously, if you can get to this stage without save states, you can consider yourself a trademark gamer. I mean, a patented gamer in a lot of cases. That's just kind of the thing, but for people who grew up on this back in the 80s, it's kind of a notch in the belt, you know? This kind of happens to be the thing, but... So, with the help of save states, I do manage to complete this game for the second time. I mean, I beat this back in 2019, but then I chose to, just kind of keep that on the side. So, I'm gonna try to mess with Ninja Gaiden. I think that's like the next one. I kind of like doing these little NES games and stuff, but obviously I'm gonna need the assistance to kind of help out with that. So that's just kind of the thing. Obviously, one of the Contra Bros should be able to beat a Contra game. It's just in the cards. Piece of cake, you know. But yeah, this is definitely a bastard. And they get like angled platforms that you have to jump upon. And sometimes they're kind of a troll just because the jumping is not. This isn't Mario jumping here, so you have to understand that. But, you know, I'm obviously going to use save states. I don't know. I mean, probably the number of times I use save states, which you could refer to the number of times I've died. And if I die more than 30 times, I would get a game over with the Konami code. So this is like... And then obviously you'd have to do the whole stage over. So maybe one day I could beat this game without that, but I don't feel inclined. I'm just happy I can beat the game at all. So... I want to kind of fire up the PlayStation 1 Contra games one day, but I don't know how expensive they are and how hard to find they are. In other news, I kind of watched the news just like 40 minutes ago, and they were talking about like the vaccine being in place, and the fact that Europe is going to get it first, so that's interesting. Should be fun enough to sit there and see how that's going to happen, but I'm excited just because it means I can go to like Walmart, gas stations, and that sort of stuff more frequently. This is easier. I'm just the type of individual that likes to saunter into a grocery store at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's, you know, that's life. That's mood. You know, if you're one of those people that says mood when something good happens, that's mood for me, is grocery store visits at 3 a.m. Just getting frozen pizzas and that sort of shit, whatever you're doing. 12-pack of Coke, you know, some shit of the like. 3 o'clock in the morning, it ain't too terrible. It's the way it should be. It's the way it was just 2 years ago, 1 year ago. So, but I'm getting ready to have some pasta. That's what I'm firing up as I'm doing this. I wasn't sure if there was going to be a part 7 to Super Contra. If there was, it would have probably only been the credits, but luckily I managed to cram all this into one more episode, so it would have been 14 minutes, but I just kind of figured, you know, it shouldn't be that terribly difficult to get this underway. So, and if I haven't mentioned it, you know, you can kind of see that little sun glare off to the left of the screen, but I did this during the day, and most of the time I record this at night, because the cats don't bother me then. But, so the main thing was after the 4-minute mark, which is right here, now you're going to see, like, well, I guess not quite, but soon, I left the lamp on, so it's going to have, like, a glare. So it's unfortunate, but I saved past the point where I had gotten to, so I don't feel like doing this whole stage over as a result of just trying to get that clean. I could do it, but it'd be a bastard, and it'd probably result in like another episode I'd have to do, so I'm just eager to get this game completed. So it's just a minor glare, but, you know, for absolute perfectionists, you know, it's a setback. So there you have it. It's not as if you can't see the screen. You're just going to see a little bit more of the house, as it were. But, so, in any case, it allows me to get to like my next game, which I'm really considering doing Ninja Gaiden. I just don't know that game. I've never beaten the game before, so I would have to kind of see as to whether or not I could actually defeat that game. Because if I could, you know, I would definitely be honored to do it, because it's this pretty stellar series. I've seen it played through, but I've never actually completed the game myself. And this is kind of, I mean, it would be another notch in my belt to be able to say that I could beat Ninja Gaiden. I would definitely be proud of that, even if it were with save states. But I think eventually I would be able to complete the game just with normalcy. That's kind of what I've been trying to do with like Castlevania and stuff and those type games. But I mean, I just don't know what it was about the NES that they just beat your ass. All those games. I mean, I look at like Xbox One and PS3 games and that sort of stuff. They were not as terrible. That's the thing. These games are horrible, you know. That's the thing. People just learned how to control their temperaments. I mean, I wonder how many people broke their NES just as a result. I mean, it was kind of outlandish for back in 1988 and 1991. You know, you sit there and punch a hole through your Nintendo, people would be like, oh, fuck that, you know, get out of my house or some shit. You know, I mean, if it was yours, it'd be different, but this is kind of the norm now, is to say, you know, a video game pissed me off, I'm going to break it. So, it's Gen X for you. So this is going to be a rather brief episode. I mean, it's not as short as it could have been, but just enough to kind of say that this is just essentially the final stage, and that's all to do. But I mean, honestly, these bubbles would not be that difficult. I just kind of started to say fuck it, and whole thing is you're supposed to have the spread shot, but I mean that stage is too much of a bastard. There's just too many tricks in this stage, so. Eventually the game takes it easy on me, but, you know, obviously I would probably be dying like a shit ton. I mean, the boss is not that tricky, it's just these bubbles that, this is the worst part in this whole stage. So, I'm just kind of like, fuck it, you know, I don't even care if I die at this stage, you know. And it starts you right on the gap, so you fall in the pit. I mean, it's like, come on, damn it. Start me at the corner of the screen, so I can at least shoot the fucking things. But too much shit going on. I mean, I'll tell you, even with the helper, this would not be easy to do. That's what you gotta pay attention to. I just finally said, fuck those bubbles, you know, because that's the last bit. I mean, this is the home stretch here. That's what you got to understand. So, I'm just like, nope, I ain't doing this again. That was the cakewalk, was being able to get to that point, so. I would almost like to do Contra 3, but I just feel like that game would be too much of a nightmare. I mean, maybe on the Super NES Classic Edition I'd do it, but not, you know, I wouldn't even play this game. I have to call a spade a spade. I would not play this game on the NES like the first Contra. It just is too much of a nightmare. I mean, I don't know how many times I'd have to use the 30 life cheat and how many lives I would lose just to be able to get to this stage. I mean, there just was too much crap. It would be frustrating. That's the thing, is you'd have to have some good friends to sit there and say that you and a friend could have 30 lives each and try to beat this game or get as far as you possibly could. I mean, it's definitely a badge of honor, but even today there's not terribly many people you'll see that are like, yeah, I just beat Contra with 13 lives, only died 13 times. I mean, I still consider it as such. Hey, it kicks ass. It's a good game. So, that was as simple as the final boss was. It really was not that tricky. It's more credit to the stage being difficult more so than the boss. So I would be pissed off if Like, I got to that guy and he just beat my ass. Then you just get the brief credits, and then you go back to stage 1 with all your lives that you had in the final stage. At least they don't say like Capcom, or they be an asshole about it. Why don't you try the harder difficulty? Or why don't you try to lose like 15 less lives? Like, I don't know, because we're not like immortal at this game. That's probably why. So. Yeah, so that's it, folks. You know, Godspeed. Go check out some more of my LPs, that sort of stuff. I've got plenty now, so this is just one more in the collective for you to watch and have a good weekend with or whatever. So enjoy it, have a wonderful night, and like I said, Godspeed and such.